Now for my lottery assignment, I had to do the FDIC, and that was my topic for my research assignment. So now, for the need of the FDIC, we have bank runs, bank failures, and schemes. Now these are all very important. First off, bank runs is important because what that is when people run to the bank as depositors to get all of their money out and take it home because they don't trust the banks. Now, bank failures are a result of bank runs. When people come into the bank and they take all of their money out, there's nothing you can do about it. And the bank can't give you all of that money because they've invested that money, and that's how they make their money. So then the entire bank fails, and that's that. Now, as far as schemes, that's important because the very first bank failure in the United States was due to a man that had a get-rich-quick scheme. These schemes seem common among banks because when they aren't watched, this made depositors weary of them, because when bankers aren't watched, they do what they want. Sometimes they kind of get money on the side and do things like that. So that kind of made depositors and Congress weary of starting FDIC or anything like that, because they did not want people to stop watching bankers, and they did not want those things to increasingly happen. Now, the creation of the FDIC. The first most important thing is Joshua Foreman. He was considered the father of the FDIC for the lack of a better term, because it was his idea to come up with state deposit insurance on a state level. And when he did that, he came up with the idea for insured banknotes in 1829. Now, this led to the Emergency Banking Acts, which led to the FDIC, the creation of the FDIC as a temporary agent. Now, when FDR came into office, he had a 4-day bank holiday enacted because it was the Great Depression and things weren't looking well. The economy was slow. It just wasn't the greatest time for America. So he had the FDIC created as a temporary agent in 1933. Now, they did great. It was working well. So in 1935, they created the FDIC as a permanent agent. And they made it their next step of business to restore faith in the banking system. They did this by publicizing their bank failures that did happen and publicizing the fact that these people were getting paid. Then they kind of made it their business to have trust through transparency, which is just their initiative to basically just be completely transparent. That's why their website is so extensive and they have so much information. Next, why the FDIC is significant? First off, it's significant because they protect your money. They protect everyone's money. Any bank account you have anywhere is pretty much insured by the FDIC. First, and then they make sure financial institutions are safe and sound. And this just means they make sure that they're not insolvent. And the last one is that they resolve large financial institutions. This can be complex because taxes are involved and things like that. But that's basically what they do. They just break it down if they no longer want to have that financial institution anymore. Lastly is the future of the FDIC. First is the innovation of technology, and lastly is scams. These are both important because the innovation of technology is constantly changing. That's something we see constantly. And how they have changed is the FDI Tech is something they have introduced, which introduces rapid phase prototyping, which is where they have a whole bunch of different prototypes come in and just try to see how they fix the solution. And the one with the best prototype gets created and actually gets used out there in the world. And then next you have scams. Scams are important because they're everywhere, and as technology increases, the way of scams increases, and the way for scammers to get in and hackers to get in internally is crazy. And that was all.